nggak kedengeran, nggak akan kelihatan. Zoom dari mana?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kelas Kreatif Indonesia.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Good afternoon.
thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see you, Bapak Ibu. And it's a warm welcome to students, teachers, lecturers, educators, and practitioners who are participating in today's webinar. So I'm glad to see you, Bapak Ibu. And today,
Great to see you too.
yeah, of course, Ibu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you,
thank
sir.
you. So we have 76 here. And Bapak Ibu, today we are going to have a fruitful discussion with two insightful speakers. They will share us about how to support vocabulary development in EFL classes. So Bapak Ibu, I think you are very curious, right? So, and I can see how curious you are and how interested you are joining in this webinar, right? So I strongly believe that some of you still curious about Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. So there are some questions coming to your mind, right? So what is Kelas Kreatif? So who can join, and how can I join this platform, and how join and involve in this community? So Bapak Ibu, without further ado, I invite Pak Dadan to introduce Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. To Pak Dadan, time is yours.
Thank you, Pak Firdaus. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a wonderful afternoon, actually. A bit raining in Bandung. So I don't know what happened in your city, but it's kind of cool here. And then allow me to introduce about Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. Some of you have been joining for a very long time. So this is like a kind of repetition, yeah, on the things about Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. But I think we have some new educators also who just joining. So I think it's important for them to know about our community. Pak Firdaus, can you help me approve the participants, yeah, joining the participants. Okay, Ibu Bapak, yes, we are very lucky today. We have two excellent presenters, Une from Bandung Independent School, and then we have Ibu Helda from Universitas Indra Prasta PGRI. The idea of our discussion today is coming from the discussion back and forth about how the teachers are struggling with the lack of vocabulary with their students. So that's why today is the initial discussion, and after our meeting today, we are going to have a further discussion in our WhatsApp group starting on Monday until the end of the month probably, and see how many ideas we can collect and implement in our classroom. So let me introduce Komunitas Pendidik Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. So Kelas Kreatif Indonesia is a personal learning network, is a group of colleagues, mentors, and professionals that connect to enhance our learning. Yeah, so it's online. I say it's online community because I believe many of you living in different areas in Indonesia, like several provinces in Indonesia from Aceh to Papua. So PLNs are especially valuable as a new information and ideas are changing the world at a much faster pace than ever before. And by having this kind of community, it's easier for us to share information, because now information is no longer like a secret like before. Yeah, it's now easily shared in our platform, especially in the WhatsApp. Initially, the Kelas Kreatif Indonesia built in 2008 with the name Education Development Project, and then changed into Kelas Kreatif in 2018, and then becoming officially Komunitas Pendidik Kelas Kreatif Indonesia in 2020. So we have 26 leadership teams in our community. There are lecturers, English course instructors, and teachers. We support each other to run our event. And then we don't have membership systems, Ibu Bapak. Up to this time, yeah, I'm not sure what happened with 2023, but up to this time, we don't have a membership system. So we call ourselves as the learning partners. So because we learn from each other and we start from zero in terms of the learning. And then we have teachers, lecturers, tutors, university students, MOE, Ministry of Education staff, and other people who are interested with education in general from various provinces in Indonesia. What are the benefits of PLN? So there are several benefits for us to be gather together in our groups in our community. The first one is opportunities to directly improve teaching and learning, and the second one is build networking, research, writing project, opportunities to lead workshops. So that's why when you fill in the Google form, you know that there are the question there is a question about will you be able to lead a workshop or session in Kelas Kreatif Indonesia, and I believe this is a good opportunity to take a step to be a risk taker. Like Pak Firdaus and Ibu Yolanda, they are both staying in Kelas Kreatif for a couple of months or years, and I have invited them to lead the workshops several times. I mean, like in the English club meetup, yeah. And then keep updated with the new research and emerging technology, and then reflect on ideas. And of course, the ultimate goal is to develop lifelong learning. What do we do in PLN? I think the key ideas is collaboration, Ibu Bapak, because maybe I don't have the knowledge, but the other teachers or educators have knowledge, so we can share ideas to solve the problem in our classroom, and then share ideas, share resources, and learning materials with other educators. So we have like offered so many webinars, activities, still online, yeah, up to this time, with the learning partners in Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. And then we have some upcoming events, Ibu Bapak. So I think we have teaching stories from the world, the 4th meeting with 3 educators from different countries. And then we have English webinars. We are going to have FGD 12, Technology and Differentiated Instruction, with Ibu Vinita Dewi. And then we have Kelas Kreatif Teaching Conference, the second one. So the first one is in December, 16 December, yeah, last year. And then we are going to have another one in December 2022. And then something different with our event today, Ibu Bapak, because we are going to offer the e-certificate for attending this event. and then there are some administration fee that you are going to pay. But then all of the money, all of the funds that we collect from the request of the certificate will be delivered to the victims of Cianjur earthquake. So we cannot do much, but I think this is the thing that we can do to support them. And then we have one teacher in Cianjur that will help us distributing and then doing the needs analysis and then buying the items for the victims in Cianjur. We are addressing the children from the Cianjur earthquake. I think that's it, the introduction about Kelas Kreatif, Pak Firdaus. Ibu Bapak, enjoy our session today. Hope we can learn from each other. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Dadan, for introducing Kelas Kreatif Indonesia to the audiences. Well, Bapak Ibu, without further ado, I will introduce our speakers today. There are two speakers. The first one is Miss Yune Kim, and then the second speaker is Ibu Helda Jolanda. So Miss Yune Kim is from South Korea, and she has lived in Indonesia more than 10 years. She completed her bachelor degree at Hankook University of Foreign Studies, majoring in English linguistics. Then she continued her master degree in applied linguistics at University of Massachusetts, United States of America. And currently, she teaches at Bandung Independent School. So coming to Ibu Jolanda, she is an educator with numerous teaching experiences in both formal and informal educational institutions for more than 3 decades. And Bapak Ibu, she currently teaches at Universitas Indraprasta PGRI Jakarta and involves as one of the online tutors at Universitas Terbuka. So please welcome Bapak Ibu, Miss Yune dan Ibu Jolanda.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, hello.
It's yeah, good to see you all again. And I'm honored to have this session with Ibu Jolanda. I would love to learn from her. Yeah,
Me too.
yeah, with her experience. I think Ibu Jolanda will share a lot about the strategies. Maybe I will share something about like maybe how we can do to support our students in the classroom. Maybe more about like, yeah, maybe about their emotional being and how they feel. And also maybe I will share a little bit about like how we see vocabulary learning as teachers, maybe. So yeah, I think it's important to talk about vocabulary development in EFL setting. EFL setting is where most of our students do not get much English input outside the classroom, right? Which can be quite challenging. So yeah, my goal today is not to give you answers, but to let you start thinking your own strategies. I believe that all of you who are here proved yourself that you're amazing teachers. Why are you here after work? You can do so many other things, but yeah, this is amazing. Luar biasa. So let me start with this question. Okay, so what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word vocabulary? Okay, I think, Pak Dadan, is that right? Like everyone can use the annotate tool, right?
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, so you can just maybe type your thoughts here on the screen, or you can just type your answers in the chat. Yeah. Many of you are actually leaving your comments in the chat. Yes, very good. I think I need to. Somehow I cannot read the chat. Oops, sorry. Okay, yeah, words, yes. Maybe let me share a little bit about my experience. Vocabulary learning, yeah. A lot of you think that it's words, yeah, things. Maybe vocabulary learning, is it kind of negative or positive for you? When I was a freshman at university, my English was not really good. I was intimidated by all of my classmates who had been to America or the UK to study English. They could all communicate in English very well. When I could not even answer a simple question like, how are you? So I took extra English lessons to get better. One day I shared an ambitious idea with my teacher. I have decided to memorize 100 vocabulary words every day. I already memorized them today. What do you think? So I was like full of, how do you say, excitement. And then he gave me a weird look and said, okay, how many of them can you actually use in sentences? I think if you really focus on 3 or 4 words a day, it will make a big difference. I was shocked. That response was not something that I had expected. As a Korean student, I was exposed to an environment where quantity matters over quality. So many Korean students memorize 20,000, 30,000 vocabulary words to be good at English. Is it effective? What is it like in Indonesia? Can you share your experience? What is it like in Indonesia? Anyone? You want to, yeah, just unmute yourself and speak up if you want. Sure. Is it similar like Korea or?
May I share my
Yes.
experience? Hi, I'm Yuni from Depok.
Hi.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
My experience about the word vocabulary is maybe similar with yours. When I was around junior high school, that is my first time learning English. And yes, my teacher asked me to memorize the vocabulary every day and every time we meet with the teacher. And then in senior high school, I learned in a boarding school, in a language boarding school, and we have a duty to memorize the word every day. The teacher gives around 5 words every day, and then we need to make it into sentences, and then we report it to them without, like giving the context or something. They just ask to memorize. This is the keyword that you have to remember for this day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I got even like hit by my teacher if I got wrong. So, right. So that's the context we grew up, right? And then we see these all students, maybe they have a different backgrounds, a different cultural background, right? So what do you think? Was it effective though? So maybe as you all agree, vocabulary learning is essential for English language learning because you need the vocabulary to express yourself in English, right? So less vocabulary means more limitations in delivering your ideas. Agree? So vocabulary learning includes like oral vocabulary, which is about how to use words in speaking or listening. And reading vocabulary is about words we comprehend or use that are written. So yeah, let me start with this theory called the simple view of reading. We want to learn vocabulary to read and communicate. And this theory describes that reading has 2 essential components, decoding and language comprehension. I think as you watch this short video, I want you to really think about, okay, if I really understand this simple theory, how can I apply this in teaching, right? Let's just watch this. Can you all see the screen? Simple view of reading.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
I give lots of workshops all over the country, and I give them on all different aspects of struggling reading. And I start every single workshop with the same introduction, and it's called the Simple View of Reading. It's research that is the most important research, in my opinion, that's ever been done on reading, because it clarifies very clearly what good readers do well and what those who don't read so well struggle with. And the Simple View of Reading is research that was first done in 1990. It was proposed in 1986, and it's been replicated hundreds of times since then. People have tried to disprove it, and they've tried to prove it. They can only prove it. They cannot disprove the Simple View of Reading. And what it says simply is that reading is made of two components: decoding and language comprehension. In order to be strong at reading comprehension, you got to be strong at decoding, and you got to have background knowledge and understand the words that you're reading. If you are the most brilliant person in the world and you understand physics and you can draw pictures and you can't decode the words, you can't achieve reading comprehension. You only have language comprehension. Decoding is also a critical skill. You must be able to read the words accurately. I work in Africa sometimes, helping develop programs for languages that children in rural Africa speak. They are languages I don't speak: Fulfulde, Kanuri, Wolof, Pular. They have what's called a transparent orthography. That means one letter always spells the same sound, not like English where one letter can spell a number of sounds. I can decode those languages perfectly. You tell me that a C spells ch, and I can read any word, because the vowel A always spells ah. The vowel O always spells O. So I can read cho. I don't have a clue what those words say. I don't know one word in Wolof, but I can read a whole page. I can decode a whole page. So I've got decoding, but I don't have any language. I can't get to reading comprehension. So the Simple View of Reading tells us two things. We have to be strong in decoding, and we have to have strong language knowledge. We have to know something that helps us know what the words are.
Okay. Yeah, that African language is similar to Indonesian, right? Yeah. So when I first came to Indonesia, I could read, but then I didn't understand what that meant, what I was reading.
I give lots of workshops all over the country.
Before we get to some of the ideas or tips or anything, can you see this text? Ayah panutanku. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe let's think about it together in Indonesian first. What strategies should we use to support students? Okay. Imagine that you need to teach this text to me. I'm a BPA student. Okay, there are some words I do not understand, right? So for example, di dagunya terdapat bekas cukur jenggot putih di dagunya. Ya, kulit ayahku kuning langsat. Ya, wajah ayah ditipeka Batak dengan rahang. So jenggot, langsat, rahang. How would you teach these words to me? Any ideas? You can brainstorm ideas.
What about guessing meaning from the context, ma'am?
Yeah. How?
Probably the other words might help. May
Hmm.
give you a clue.
Yes, right. So try to guess the meaning in the context. That's very good. Okay. And like if I cannot guess the meaning in the context, what would you do? What would you try?
Can I try to answer?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. This context is when I am a teacher, then I want to teach you about this text for you. Okay. We know that there is a method. It is direct method. So when the when the students do not know the meaning of the word, the teacher can demonstrate the meaning by the real picture or the real item. For the unreal object, we can to connect one idea to idea. So if the word is not a concrete thing, so we can connect idea to demonstrate the meaning.
That's great. Amazing. Yes, thank you. Right. You can use images. Yeah. And you can also know that, I speak English, right? So you can use English words too. So when you teach your students, they all speak Indonesian, you can explain in Indonesian too. Possible, right? So there are actually, I think, Ibu Jolanda will share amazing strategies, specific strategies. That's amazing. So I think maybe, yeah, you can start like brainstorming. If I have to teach this, which way will be effective, right? In English or in Indonesian even, right? So here are some of the points that I would like to address. I think number one is I would love to, I think, stress is that, yeah, I think we need to create a culture that is positive. Yeah, I think it's more about the emotional level of learning. So these days I'm into learning more about positive psychology and positive interventions teachers can use to encourage students' engagement. So it's about growth mindset. I think create a culture in that vocabulary learning is not about your memory. So when I was learning Indonesian, when I first came to Bandung, it was not easy since I came with no Indonesian capacity. I couldn't even say terima kasih. I had to remember hundreds of words every day, and I felt dumb not remembering everything. I lupa lagi, maaf, lupa lagi, yeah. And my pelatih said, "Tidak apa-apa, Bu, lanjut belajar saja. It will come to you. It's okay. You just continue, right?" So I teach elementary students, and they are afraid of expressing their ideas because they are afraid that they might make mistakes. They might misspell words. Like, I don't know how to spell. I don't know. Like, and then I said, it's okay. You can just try to spell it out. If you get it wrong, we can just fix it together later. Don't worry. So I think it's important to create that. So like, if you don't remember everything now, totally fine. It will come to you again. The word, like if you forget about it, don't worry. I think that's the most important part. And then phonics. Decoding is the very important part. I teach young students, and some of them actually have issues with comprehension and English reading. And I try to categorize, like, does this student have issues with decoding, or does this student have issues with language comprehension? So I can actually focus on some of the maybe rules, right? Some of the rules. So like if they don't know how to pronounce certain words, maybe I can focus on like practicing words like TH sound, or many of my students believe that C makes the ch sound in English too. So I said, no, there's no ch sound in C, or like explicitly I try to explain, or like the how do you pronounce like AI, so digraphs, like AI again instead of again, or said, or things like that. So it's important to spend enough time focusing on the sound rules when you teach a language. Sometimes it can change meaning, like thought and taught, right? So when I learned Chinese for the first time in university, my professor didn't teach anything but sound for 1 whole month. And if I speak Chinese, they say, "Oh, you speak with Chinese." Well, actually, I don't speak with Chinese, but maybe I sound okay, yeah. So it is important to pronounce words properly, or you will say something, yeah, totally different. Your tongue, your mouth, and all the muscles in your face are perfect for speaking Indonesian. So if you want students to learn new language, we need to teach students explicitly how to pronounce certain words, showing specific place of the tongue, lips, etc. Why do you think it's important to sound similar to the majority speakers of the language? I think it's just makes communication easier, right? Yeah, like I think I did share a little bit about if I speak Indonesian with heavy Korean accent, maybe you will be like this, like, what is she talking about? What? Like, saya berasal. Like, if you just keep talking, if I keep talking like this, you will have to use a lot of your energy to listen to me, right? So that's not my goal when I speak a foreign language. So here are some of the resources you can use. I love Tala speech and language, this video. She has a lot of videos like how to pronounce words properly. And yeah, for younger students, they can use some Jack Hartman videos or Starfall. I will share these slides with you later so you can just explore everything. Sorry. Okay. And yeah, I think some of you just already share about direct teaching. So I think it's important that when it comes to vocabulary teaching, well, we learn words indirectly and directly. So we need to incorporate both types of teaching. Maybe there's an amazing resource I will share. Actually, it's included in this slide. You can Reading Rockets is an amazing website. You can just get all the resources about literacy, how to teach vocabulary, how to teach reading for the students who are struggling like that. So students actually learned vocabulary from indirect teaching 3 ways, maybe. Yeah, daily oral engagement. But like, how many students do you usually have in your class? Like, in one class, how many students? Like 30 students? Is that right? So how would you engage yourself in conversations with your students? Like, how would you do that with a big group of students? I think that's something that's where students get new, like listen to new vocabulary, new words like that. But I think we need to think about, okay, if you have a big group of students, most of them do not have English proficiency at the moment, then how would we, like, what are the things we can do so that they can actually listen to different words, right? Yeah, so I think we can think about like technology, right? Yeah, reading is very important, and they can actually listen to adults or other people reading to them, or they can explore books by themselves. Yeah, you can like look at this infographic. I did my best to read to my children at least 20 minutes a day when they're younger. Actually, I did my best to do that. Like, that was my routine. But I can actually see one of them didn't really want to read. And I can even see with my own kids, like their literacy level is very different, actually. So maybe we can think about, like, maybe there are different websites we can like explore so that students can like kind of listen to. I actually have some resources at the end of this slide. So you can actually model, you can read to your students. So I think instead of just teaching text or textbooks in class, I think I totally recommend like include real books in your class. That's what I do every time, like with my students. So what do you see here? There are two different types of books. What kinds of different do you see this between two books? Similar story, right? Very similar story. I was like, whoa, almost same structure. But then what do you see? Which one do you think is more interesting? This book or this book? Number two, number one, number two. Maybe you can notice that there are two different types of books, I would say. One, this book is written with a purpose to teach how to read, right? So it's a labeled books, like, so you can, I don't know, maybe like for the Lexile level, yeah, the reading level. So according to your reading level, you get something like this with the structure, mama dog, what do you see? I see an eagle looking down at me, which is similar to Eric Carle's book, Brown Bear, what do you see? This book is actually written to entertain, right? So you can actually see, if I just try to read textbooks or some books like this, kids get bored. They're like, But if I read books like this, I call it like, yeah, live books. Like they really engage much better. So I think if you don't have all these books, there are some like, yeah, storyline online or some websites you can actually access these books. So yeah, direct teaching, I think it's important. I'm not gonna share all the details, but maybe, yeah, you can think about like, you may remember the text. I didn't understand not a lot of the vocabulary, but some of the vocabulary maybe. So maybe you can, before you teach a text or reading, you can think about like, okay, maybe some words they can figure out according in the context, but some of the words they just cannot. So maybe you can pre-teach those words first. Yeah, maybe you can incorporate different kinds of activities like word puzzle or different fun activities. Yeah, so you can try to pre-teach them, and then they need to actually use them to understand. Maybe I think it's important that students, sometimes they don't understand the English structure well. So like you need to kind of explain, okay, is this a like noun? Like maybe you can categorize like the word family so that students can kind of use it in the context in a sentence. So maybe you can pair students up and ask them to guess the word. If one person creates a quiz or let them explore with words. I really like my students to draw pictures or like kind of create a story using different words. And you need to actually revisit new words. So you can create a word wall. So like what it's like sometimes like you can kind of add 3 to 5 words every time, and then the next class you can kind of spend 5 minutes of your class time to just kind of revisit the words. I really love the idea of word box. When I study with my students, they have a lot of vocabulary they don't understand. We just write it down and just put it in a box, and then we kind of try to like have a quiz. You just need to use just 5 minutes of your class time to kind of, oh, what was this word? Oh, what was this word? Like, do you remember this? Let's spell it out. Something like that. Okay. So I think it's important that, like you said, that memorizing 20,000, 30,000 words just is not really effective because we just don't understand the context, right? Yeah. So, and I think we just need to be careful with cognates. Cognates are words from different languages that have similar spellings, like pronunciation and meanings. So like the word accident in English is similar to accidente in Spanish. the spelling and pronunciation, both words are very similar. Maybe in Indonesian, like there are some examples like transparent, transparent. So I think we need to explain the context of the words. And I remember when I was learning Indonesian, Pak, apa artinya kata ini? If I ask this question, always my pelatih say, itu tergantung konteksnya. Yeah, it's up. Yeah, it depends on the context. And I think when you teach like expressions or words, always we need to remember it needs to be in the context. So it can be in the book or it can be in the story, so that students can actually understand the feeling of different words. There are so many words we need to learn every day, right? And it can be quite overwhelming. And I think we need to think about ways to stimulate their curiosity. This morning, my daughter suddenly asked, Mom, what is Raja? And out of nowhere, I'm like, what? Raja? And I said, king. It means a king. And she said, then what is rasa? And I said, taste. Then, oh, it means king of taste. So we pass the restaurant Raja Rasa every day. So every day she was curious about, oh, what does that mean? Raja Rasa, Raja Rasa. So like, yeah, you can think about how we can stimulate students' curiosity. You can sometimes like just put some words around the classroom and students will just walk around and see, oh, teacher, what does that mean? What is that picture? Or like you can just kind of print a story or some images. You can just put it in there and then let them explain the language they have or something like that. So yeah, that's all I have. And I have some books, read aloud picture books. So this is something that I give to my students. So whenever they have time, they can just read. And reading rockets, please visit the website. I love it. And you can, yeah, you can actually find a lot of strategies there. And the Tarla Speech and Language Lab, she has a lot of amazing videos. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Yune, for sharing to us about how to support vocabulary development in ELD classes. So, Bapak Ibu, so we will continue our discussion with Ibu Jolanda. To Ibu Jolanda, please welcome, and time is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm blessed to be here to share with all of great educators and great teachers also. I just and develop my title here, Developing Students' Vocabulary Creatively. Before I start, I want to ask Bapak Ibu your comment and respond about some issue found in vocabulary learning. First, when you ask what the students want to improve, they often put vocabulary high on their list. What do you think? You may write down in chat. Have you seen my presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I can read the comment here. Okay. Yes, okay. Okay, so we have the same issue. And the second one, sure enough, you teach lots of words and phrases in the classroom, but do the students really learn them? Actually, after we give or we teach some text, and we found some difficult or new vocabulary, and then we give for them. In fact, they never learned it. Do you have the same problem with me? Okay. Next, number 3. Does the vocabulary you teach become part of the language use? I mean, do they use in their daily conversation with their friends or with us as the teachers? Do they use the vocabulary that they already got? What do you think? And the last, okay. Do you challenge your students to apply the words to their own experience in the classroom? If yes, how? Do you challenge your students to apply the words to their own experiences in the classroom? In my experience, I usually ask my students to give feedback. And in their feedback, I'm asking them to put 1 or 2 new vocabulary. That's my experience. One of them is the giving the feedback or describe something using the new one, the new vocabulary. This is the issue, some issues. And then this is the facts. The first one is grammar focus. One of the current trends in English learning teaching is to give vocabulary priority. But in fact, for decades, traditional language teaching methods and approaches gave more importance to grammatical structure, according to Caroline Campbell. So, Bapak Ibu, in our learning teaching, we usually focus on grammar, then focus on vocabulary. And the second one is irrelevant material to students' needs. MacArthur claims that materials should present and practice vocabulary in natural context, just like Ms. Kim already explained, that direct teaching. This is natural context that current and relevant to learners' needs. This making better use of class time. But sometimes we don't use the natural context for our students. And next, informal conversation. One of the most powerful things teachers and adults, it means parents, can do is to have rich conversation with children. Recent research on conversational turns indicates that the more turns a young child takes in conversation with an adult, the more they grow their vocabulary and verbal equity in general. It means that the students or the children come from background family that usually make conversation in English for their daily conversation. They have more vocabulary, or they become more active in conversation. And the next is shorten memory.
Excuse me, Bu Jelanda, can you present your PowerPoint? So we cannot, now we cannot see the.
I already shared it.
You can go to slideshow and then click present.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, it's click the
Slideshow.
slideshow.
Yeah.
Where is it? I can find it. Slideshow.
On the
The
bars, like home,
the fifth
insert,
step,
design, transition. Yeah, that one.
that one.
Yeah.
Is it already shown, Pak Dadan?
No.
Oh, what? Can you share for me?
Let me try first. Which slide?
Yes, this one.
Okay.
Yeah. The first one is grammar focus, and the second one is irrelevant material to the student's needs and informal conversation. And the second one is the next one is short-term memory. Research shows that 80% of what we forget happen within 24 hours, which makes revision probably the most important part of vocabulary learning. It means that we have to review or repeat again and again. For example, after we teach, and then do we review it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes after teaching, or we will repeat it for the next meeting before we start the other material. We can review or repeat the new vocabulary that we already given to our students. So if we don't do that, it will vanish. And the fact, reader habit. Children read the story 3 times, recognize more words. On average, accurately identify 5 words, or they can name 2 words. From 5 words they recognize, they can name 2 words. And then hearing unfamiliar words more than 3 times, recognize more words, on average 7 words, and they can name 4 words. So the first one is reading, and the second one is reading aloud. So reading aloud is also more important and effectively, because as we see here, that when the students or children hearing unfamiliar words more than 3 times, they will recognize 7 words, then they only read. The next, Padara. So how can we develop students' vocabulary in the classroom? Next. What should teachers do? So as a teachers, we should be more creative to use more variety ways in strategies, methods, and also activities. Here is the quote from Albert Einstein. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. So teaching is an art. Teaching also is a style. So as a teacher, we also have a different teaching style. So if we want to be creative to awaken joy, or making our learning fun. So let's do it. Next. What are the strategies to develop vocabulary? According to Nation and Mora, suggest 4 important strategies for understanding and enabling words to remain in learners' memory. The first is guessing from the context, as Ms. Kim already explained, and using word parts. Guessing word context means we can give context clue, and then using word parts from part of speech, from noun, verb, and so on. And then dictionary use and using word cards, flashcard, and etc. And I add this strategy for the recent learning by using technology. I add utilizing a range of apps and other tools. Next. Here is some example. Guessing from context, we can use synonyms and definition. If we can read, can you read, Bapak Ibu? It's too small, the words?
No, it's enough.
No, it's
Okay.
readable.
Okay, so Kingfisher, we don't know our, that is the new one. So when we give the definition, Kingfisher are a group of small to medium-sized brightly colored birds. So Kingfisher is a bird. It's a small bird. That is from definition. And we can use also the similar meaning or synonym when he made insolent remarks towards his teacher. They sent his to the principal for being disrespectful. So insolent means disrespectful. And also we can use example. A Trojan is an example of a computer virus. So when they don't know what is a Trojan and it is in the text, that is an example. Trojan is a computer virus. And the other one is using word parts or part of speech. For example, we can use the word help. Help can be a noun and also the same as a verb. But if we put the suffix full, it can be adjective. So, for example, she is helpful. She always helps her friends who need her help. So the first is helpful as an adjective and helps as a verb, and the second help is a noun. And word form, we can use affix and also suffix. That is the context clue that we can use to give for the students to create the use of the text and knowing the vocabulary by using definition, word parts, inference, synonyms, example, also pictures. Next, Padada. This is some tools. It's also an apps, collocation dictionary, Lexipedia, Snappy Words, and Quizlet, Padlet, Word Hypo. You can, I put the web link there so you can explore. Next, Padada. And vocabulary activity, we can have a word map or semantic web or mind mapping, and then use the Freire model. I will show you after this slide. and then draw vocabulary sketch notes, bump words along, pose a graffiti wall, match words to describe the character, fill the words from A to Z, and try flip grid for vocabulary activities. And also, we do some activities like reading a lot, reading or reading aloud. And then keeping thesaurus and dictionary, making flashcard, describing our surroundings, maybe give them some minutes, and then they have to describe things around them, or they have to describe their friends. In my experience, I give describing their friends or give opinion for their friends. I'm asking them to sit in the circle, and first they have to describe their own self in a piece of paper. And when I'm asking move, they will give to the other or the next friend, and the next friend will give their comment or describing their friend. And also the paper will turn in the circle for 5 or 6 times. And when they describe their friends, they may use 3 until 5 new words. And then listening to music and committing to learning 1 new word every day. Next. Now, this is the example of activities. The first is semantic web or semantic map, or we can use mind mapping to brainstorm the idea. We give the word, and then they will find as many as they can. And A to Z, we will give the topic or the theme, and they will complete the word from A to Z. And also the other activity like graphic organizer. And the interesting one is acrostic. So this is the word rapid. From the initial letter, they will explore or they will expand what is rapid or the similar meaning of rapid. The first one from R is really fast. The second one is abruptly alone. And then abruptly done, sorry, passing everyone. And then I is not slow, and then done quickly. Bapak Ibu, I will challenge you by using this acrostic with the word sweet. S-W-E-E-T. Yes, sweet. So S is from, would you like to try? Sweet. Yes. S. I mean the same as sweet. Yes, sugar, sugary. Yes, sugar, sugary. Yes. Yes, sugar taste. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, you have to describe the word sweet with the other word. Yes. Candy is not, the letter C is not done in the sweet. You have to use only the letter in the word sweet. S, W, double E, and T. What is the what is E? We have the word S for sugary, Sugar? Yes, synonym. Yes. The second is E. Sorry, W. Wonder? Is it wonder sweet? Wonderful? Okay. Easy to love, sweet? Yes. What children like? Yes. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Everyone love it. Okay. Okay. I will give well taste. Yes, sugary, well taste for W, and then E. E. Letter E. Enjoyable. It. W wisdom. Enter. Okay. And the 4. And fish. Sweet. Sweet. Yeah. Easily to eat. Okay. Yeah. Eat candy. That's good. Eat candy. It like something candy. Eat. Enak. Yes. Yeah. Eat honey. Yeah. Eat honey. Okay. And the last T. Trustworthy. Tasty. That's good. Tasty. Taste. Okay. That's nice. Okay, so it is interesting when I apply it for my students and I give the time. Yeah, for example, I give 5 minutes to complete the word or 10 minutes to pain. Okay, next, Pak Dadan. Thank you, Bapak Ibu. Okay, next, I have the insight here that according to Oxford, that no rules are followed in learning the vocabulary as used in learning the grammar. Students usually encounter hundreds of words that they need to learn and practice during their studies. So there's a lot of strategy that we can use according to our students' need and our students' characteristic. There's no silver bullet that we can use only for one strategy for the students. So that is the insight that I got. And then solution. The studies investigate teachers' perspective and in instructional method they use inside the language classroom and the problem they face in teaching vocabulary to students. It means that we have to use our instructional teaching. We have to design it according to our teachers, our students' needs. And the second is highlight the importance of learning the vocabulary and motivate the students to overcome their problems by following the proposed strategies. The next. Okay. So as the teachers, practically, we are encourage ourselves to train the students in using strategies creatively to derive correct meanings of new vocabulary. So in here, I give A, B, C. A is for architect. So as a teacher, we also an architect. We design the instructional teaching context for our students, and we also build our students' motivation. We build their confidence to learn English. And B is for bridger. It means that we have to connect our students with the other resources or tools that they can use all the resources to develop their vocabulary. And C is for the catalyst. It means that we have to be creative so we can create all creative strategies or all creative media tools that we can use to develop our students' vocabulary. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Yune and Ibu Jolanda, for sharing the insightful materials about how to build vocabulary development in ELT classes. So Bapak Ibu, we come to our question and answer session. If you have any questions, you can write down and you can speak directly.
The participants can raise their hand, ya, Pak Firdaus.
Okay. You can raise your hand, Bapak Ibu, to ask the questions. Okay, Pak Sandi, you can ask the question, Pak.
Okay, check. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Sandi Maulana Abdillah from Sukabumi. My question is probably for Miss Yuni.
Une aja une, kayak maune.
All right. All right. Miss Une, my question is, how long have you been learning Bahasa Indonesia? And then how long does it take for you to learn Indonesia? And I can see that now you are fluent enough to speak Bahasa. That one is the first question. How long does it take for you to master Bahasa Indonesia? And then the second one is, what is enjoyable, maybe not enjoyable, probably what is enjoyable method for you to improve your vocabulary in Bahasa Indonesia? I mean, is there any method or trick or tips that you usually do and then it is enjoyable for you and you loved it and then you can improve your vocabulary as well? Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Harus bertanya kepada Pak Dadan, apakah bahasa Indonesia masih master atau enggak, itu saya juga susah juga ya. I think mastering a language, well, it will take a lifetime, I think. I'm still learning every day. Saya merasa saya belajar setiap hari ya. Mungkin cukup lancar karena I think I just love the Indonesian culture. And my goal of learning a language is to be part of them, to be like them. So I think that's a strong motivation, intrinsic motivation that I have. I think that was something that really helped me whenever I felt like my Indonesian was not getting better. Something that like really helped me was to really go out and talk to people, even though I just didn't understand everything. So same with Sundanese, I learned Sundanese a little bit. So like if I go to a wedding, for example, I just don't understand what people are talking about in Sundanese. I just go there and people laugh at me. That's okay. I think I watched Indonesian YouTube videos. Sasha Stevenson helped me a lot in understanding the Indonesian culture at the time. And I actually went to a full-time school, Indonesian school, for 1 year. So I think that really helped me. And when I first came, I had a tutoring with a teacher who actually could speak English. So he was like helping me intensively for the first 3 months using English. So that really helped me. So that's why I said in an EFL setting, using Indonesian for your students, explaining meaning, things like that. I think in the beginning, it will be very helpful, actually. That's why, like, when my daughter said, Mom, what is it, Raja, Rasa? I just said, king, taste. And then she's like, okay, I got it. right? Instead of trying to explain it in English or Indonesian that she doesn't understand. I think it's, yeah, much faster. Is that right? Did I answer your questions?
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Okay, so move on to the second question. So please, Ibu Sarkia can ask.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. So, actually, I would like to ask both of speakers if I can ask that. All right. First of all, we know that there are a lot of strategies existed nowadays about strategies to develop the vocabulary. But sometimes the fact is that me personally, I have experienced that I have students with a lack of motivation. For example, like a high school students, he just said like, I don't like English, etc. My question is that how to improve the lack of motivation of my students, and the next one is that how if the teacher itself have difficulties to put their motivation to teach creatively. Maybe this the second question is for Miss Yolanda, and the first question for, is it Anne? Miss Anne.
Yolanda dulu, Ibu Yolanda.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
So your question for me is how can help the students who lack of motivation, right?
Yes, both students and also teachers, because sometimes teachers also, yeah, have a lack of motivation.
Okay.
Thank you.
In my experience, I always make commitment first before I teach, and then I ask the students what is their what are their goals, to learn English, and then when in the middle of the learning they feel lack of motivation, I will remind them about their goal. What is your goal? Oh yeah, my goal is to become English teacher, or my goal is to become what is that? A stewardess or flight attendant, and they have a lot of goals, that interesting goals. And when I remind them about the goals, they will have what is that? The spirit to learn English again. And for the teacher, I also ask the same. I think if we see our goals, what do you want? What is the purpose of your life, or what is the purpose of your career? If you stick in your goals, I think motivation is not enough, but discipline, right? So when they know their goals, I think they will motivate, and they have discipline to reach their goal. That's all from me. Yeah.
I think maybe I would love to, like, when you share the questions, I was like, I just texting Padadan, let's talk about teacher well-being next time. I think maybe it's important that when like the teachers are not motivated, there are several reasons. Maybe your kaji is not high, or right, like you have different reason. Maybe you have family issues, like we have I don't know, like some different issues that you feel like kind of sad and depressed, and that could influence your teaching career. Similar with your students too, like when your students coming, sometimes they have some family issues, or they feel really tired or sick, or there are different reasons. So I think first thing that I would like to share is that we need to get to know them first. I think we need to know everything about what they like. So for example, when students are not motivated, I would like to suggest like maybe connect your English curriculum with what they like. maybe ask them questions. So for example, what I do in my classroom, I for the first time, for the first class, what I do is just, maybe I can just show you. I just ask them to draw something like this, marvelous me, so that they can like share their favorite things or favorite animal toys or books, like, so that I get to know them first. And then I can share their, maybe they can share their struggles, what is challenging, and maybe like, yeah, once we kind of talk about it, maybe we can understand them better.
All right, thanks a lot for the explanation, I mean the suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go on to Miss Ibu Satya.
Thank you so much, Mbak Kim and Bu Jolanda. Yeah, actually, this is not my question, but the question belongs to my younger sister here. Actually, I'm gathering my sister here. They are about to teach young children. We have actually, our focus is on empowering program. So then, thank you so much. So I will the opportunity to my younger sister. Thank you. You may give a question, please.
For both of us?
Excuse me, I'm wondering about, would you like to repeat louder? Sorry, Miss, I'm wondering about revisit new word. What's that mean? Can you explain more about revisit new word? Revisit new word. I think the question belongs to Mbak Kim. So this is about revisit new word. Yeah. So would you like to explain more? She needs some more explanation about that. Thank you.
Question is for you, Miss Kim.
Yeah.
You are muted, Uni.
Yeah, unmute. You still unmute.
You are muted, Uni.
I'm still muted. Yeah.
Yeah, still
Learning new words. So when you explain new words, I gave you two examples. One is like a word wall and one is the word box, right? So like Ibu Jolanda already shared that it's important to revise, revisit new words if you already learned. So I think what I did, especially with the young learners, you can just like, if you learn a new word, you can just put it on the wall, right? And then the next time, before you start your class, you can just go over, oh, do you remember this word? How do you say that? Okay. Like, can you make a sentence or something like that? So what I did was just, I used maybe first 5 minutes, since like kids are warming up, that's my warm-up activity. And then after like 5 times or 4 times, they're like, oh, we already know that word, take it off. So then you can actually keep changing the new words, and then students can actually kind of like, oh, now I know that. And it's interesting, even in the class time, they look at the word wall and they're like, oh, like they kind of, when they're daydreaming, they think about the words, new words. So I think it's a good like exposure to the students. Does that make sense? Similar with the word box too. You kind of like write down a word, new words, and just put it in the box. And then every time you start a class, you can kind of review any words. Like you kind of, okay, let's try to get new words and like make sentences or things like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
A simple activity that was pretty powerful, especially with the younger ones.
Okay, continue. Ibu Delara Siti Maulida, you can ask the question.
Okay, thank you. Actually, my question maybe is same with the previous one with Miss Zalika, if I'm not mistaken, because it also happens to my class in which I have a difficulty to engage my students to in my class during the vocabulary classroom. So my question is maybe how do you engage your students to involve with the vocabulary classroom? Because my students maybe they lack of motivation, and yeah, same with Miss Dalika, they said they don't like learning vocabulary because they don't like grammar and so forth. Thank you.
Yolanda?
Oh, okay. I think for the young learner, they love something visual, like picture, video. Sometimes I give the movie, okay, and then I will ask them to listen to the movie, what word that you can get from that movie, and then if we listen again and get 5 or 10 words, we will discuss about it. And the next meeting, I will asking them or make them to show or demonstrate what they have learned about the new word. And the other things that young learners like to give the reward. So I give a competition, asking and answer. For example, I classified the word. For example, it's about fruit or the other one, and then I'm asking mention 3 words related to, or mention 3 words, mention 3 red fruit, for example, or mention 3 blah blah blah, for example, like that. And then when they answer the question, I will give 100 for you because that is true, and then they will eager to answer the question more and more because they want to get the score, for example, like that. Yeah, give the competition, asking and answer. Or in Bahasa Indonesia, for example, there is a game, nama tokoh, buah, binatang, yeah, fruit, name of person, fruit, vegetables, country, and also things. And start with letter B, for example. B, what is name in B? And then what is the country? Start with letter B, fruit, and so on and so on. Only 5 question for the competition. They like it. And then you will start with the verb or the adjective. Yeah, change the topic. It's that I apply in my students also. I have a younger young learner students and also college students. In younger learner, I usually give the competition like that. But in college students, I asking them to create something like make a video. Also, TikTok. Yeah, they have a TikTok also. How to different fooder, feeder, and father. That is the difficult words to confuse words. They have to make it in TikTok. So they love it. They love social media. Yeah.
So
That's
maybe
my
I
problem.
can start with the video, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
the video.
Also,
Yeah.
share the link, super simple songs, kids
Yeah.
love it. And I think we should not use words like grammar or vocabulary with young students. And maybe with the young students, what I did was that I would break down the class into small bits, like 5 minutes of singing, 5 minutes of
Yeah, singing also.
Because every 5 to 10 minutes they get bored. So I think it's better to have transitions after 10 minutes.
Okay. But is it also could be applied for a college student because I'm teaching in university?
Ah, yeah, college students, different strategies.
You also
Yes.
teach university in the university, the college students?
Yes, in Bandung, ma'am.
Yeah, you may apply some of the video, or for example, like me, they don't have a presentation in the a lot of text, but I'm asking them to how to simplify the text into poster. So in poster, only the picture and also some simple words, for example, quote, or they can use quote, or they can use phrase, or simple sentence. They don't supposed to present all the text as the presentation. That is very bored. So they make a poster. They have to review the movie, for example. That is
review.
review the movie. They love it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am Yolanda.
Yeah,
I'm kiss
you're welcome.
you.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Jolanda and Kim for sharing to us and answer the questions from the audiences and participants. So, Bapak Ibu, we will close our webinar, and hopefully Bapak Ibu will get insights from our webinar today. And before we close our webinar, we'll take a group photo together. Hopefully, Pak Dadan, can you help me, Pak Dadan, to take?
Yes, I can. So everyone, would you please turn on your video? Okay, thank you. And of course, you need to give your best smile. Yeah, it's 5 p.m. now, but I hope you can still have like 75% energy with you. Okay, Ibu Bapa, 1, 2, 3, slide 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I will go to second slide. Wait a second. Somebody is asking about the door prize, Pak Firdaus. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, second slide, Ibu Bapa. Smile. Next, the third slide. Okay, so only 2 slides. I think the rest are just like no photo or video. Thank you. Already, Pak Firdaus?
All right. So we have taken our group photo, and officially we'll close our session. Bapak Ibu, thank you very much for joining us, Kelas Kreatif Indonesia webinar. And see you again in another agenda from Kelas Kreatif Indonesia. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pak Dadan, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Ude. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Pak Firdaus, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Yolanda. Thank you, Pak Firdaus. Thank you very much.
You Kim.
Bu Yolanda, I will share the presentation to the group chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Une also. But I need to resize the title. Or I might need to put it in the Google folder so I can share for them so they can download it by themselves.
Okay.
I think it's good the discussion later because so many strategies, so many websites, and then we need to see which one is suitable with their context. Might be for the young learners, which one is for university, and which one is like for the junior high school.
By the level, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end, I think the vocabulary referring to the reading, right? The reading skills.
What is your idea, Miss Kim? that you already text Pak Dadan? Have you mentioned before you already text Pak Dadan?
It's about the well-being, right?
About the,
Oh, yeah. And part of this group called Positive Psychology of Language Learning.
Yeah.
So I think they're discussing a lot about teacher well-being.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are struggling at this point.
We can have that session in January probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps maybe, I don't know, like I can ask some of them to join us, like if it's possible.
Yeah. I'm hoping we have the offline event though. So let's see whether in Bandung or in Jakarta ya, Jolanda. At your university probably we can like having the class creative learning partners meet up, because in certain points we need to meet.
We still have a hybrid, so
At university.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if we can have like an offline meeting, because I feel like since we have like a short amount of time, like we cannot really discuss a lot about these strategies. So we can have like and we can discuss more about like their contact.
I agree. Last time in Sukabumi, it requires like a full day to really delivering the concepts and strategies, and it's not enough. And then today we only have like 1 hour and 30 minutes. I don't think it's enough. So that's why our discussion will be continued in the WhatsApp group until the end of the month probably, or maybe until the holiday, 16th of December. Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, thank you very much, Uni.
Yeah,
Ibu
thank you, Pak
Jolanda,
Dadan.
thank you, Pak
Yeah,
Firdaus,
thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Kim.